Hey everybody, it's Alex here from Android Headlines, and before we get started with the review of the Droid Ultra, we're going to take a few minutes and go ahead and do a top tips and tricks video for the Droid Ultra, since the one for the Moto X is pretty popular. So a lot of this stuff is going to look familiar if you watch that video, since all the features from the Moto X are in the Droid Ultra, but all the features from the Droid Ultra are not in the Moto X, which is why we're doing a separate video. So we're going to start off with Touchless Control, which if you dive into settings and then go into touchless control, you can change some of the settings for touchless control. Basically what it does is, by saying the launch phrase, which I'll say in a few minutes, you can then pretty much do whatever you want with Google Now, just like you can on any other phone. Like let me pull out the G2 real quick. Like on the G2 you can say, who is the President of the United States? And right now I have the volume turned down, so that's why it didn't say who it was. But that's basically what you'll be able to do. So you can do that on the Droid Ultra, or Droid Max, Droid Mini, and the Moto X as well. Okay, Google Now. Who is the mayor of Detroit? And that's just how easy it is. You can be across the room.
Dave Bing.
It can be wherever. You can even say, okay, Google Now. What's the weather like tomorrow in Detroit?
Tomorrow's forecast for Detroit is 73 degrees and clear.
So it's really good. I mean, it takes all the stuff on Google Now and gives it to you in touchless control, which is a feature you may not use often, but it's definitely something you can show off. You can do that with emails, text messages, all kinds of things. Another feature is active display, which I'm going to see if I can get it to come up. So right there you can see how it's actually going to start breathing. So it shows you the time along with an unlock button, which if you have a notification, it'll show it up there, which you can unlock and go straight into notification. And if you don't, you can just unlock it like that. It's actually really useful, and once you get used to it, it's hard to use a device that doesn't have it. Like, I've been using the Droid Ultra and the Moto X all week, and today I picked up the G2 and I was looking for active display and it wasn't coming up. Yeah. But that's the reason why they're using AMOLED in their newer phones, is because AMOLED displays, what they do is they light up each individual pixel. So on active display, it only lights up those pixels right there instead of the entire screen, which makes it better for your battery. I haven't really noticed any difference in battery life with it on or with it off. There's no notification light because you have active display that takes place of your notification light. Some of the other features in here are like Motorola Assist, which we've gone over this already, but there are 3 different actions you can do, or activities. There's driving, meeting, and sleeping. Basically, driving, it knows when you're in the car driving. It can either read all your stuff out loud, like your text messages, who's calling, or it can just resume playing music from wherever you left off. If you're in a meeting, it actually can tell from your Google Calendar if you're in a meeting, and it can silence your phone. And then if you're sleeping, you can actually set the times for you, and it can silence your phone, which I have it set to silence it from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. And that's Motorola Assist, that's one of my favorite features here. There's actually quite a few features on the new Motorola phones that I really like. Another one is Motorola Migrate. With this, you're able to, let's zoom in a little bit more. With this, you're able to transfer text messages, call history, SIM contacts, music and videos, along with your volume and the screen brightness settings from your old phone over to your new phone. Now, there's a couple ways you can do it, but it's like super easy. I mean, even non-techie people, like people that aren't like us, can figure out how to do it. Another feature is DROID Zap, which will dive into the gallery here and choose an image. So with DROID Zap, what you can do is once you're in that image, you can take 2 fingers and swipe up, and it'll start sending the image. Which basically what it does is it uploads it to the cloud. So if you have another device, like I have the Moto X, but it's turned off right now, so it doesn't interfere with the Google Now demonstration in this video. If you have another device with DROID Zap installed, you can download it. I think I have it set up so you have to have a code. Yeah, you have to have a code to download this picture. But we have a whole how-to video, which I'll link in the description down below. Or if you're watching this on the site, it'll be linked in the post. Couple other features. Well, the clock widget here, which has always been one of my favorite widgets on the droids. If you flip over the actual clock, you get the DROID Zap, or you can get to the display mirroring. Then for the weather, you can switch cities and add more. And then for the battery, you can flip it over and jump into the settings. As far as battery life goes, I actually haven't used this as much since I charged it, but it's been lasting about a day. Right now it's lasted about 4 hours at 85%, and it's been on screen for about 15 minutes. So it's not the best on screen or best stats to show you in this kind of video. Some of the other ones have to do with the camera, which let me zoom out so you can actually see what I'm doing. Basically, you can take it and like do a double twist type thing, and you can get into the camera, and you can tap anywhere, take a picture, and swipe in over from the left, and you can get into the settings. But you have HDR here, which you can set to auto on or off. Then you have your flash, your tap to focus, which I usually leave that off. But if you want to tap to focus, you can just like tap over here, and it'll focus on that corner of the G2. You also have slow-mo, panorama, geotag, volume. So if you wanted to make this like the shutter sound when you take a picture, and then you also have the gesture. So if you don't want to do that gesture to get into the camera, you can turn that off. And to get into the gallery, you just swipe over the other way. The camera for me, it's taking pretty good pictures. I mean, it's not the best camera out there, but for a smartphone, it's right on the money. It does exactly what I want it to do. I mean, it's not going to take DSLR quality pictures, but it's not going to be really crappy either. So those are just some of the top tips for the Droid Ultra. We're going to be back with a full video review and written review pretty soon. So stay tuned.